Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin shows a slightly upward trend, with support at $113,900 and resistance around $116,000. The RSI values fluctuate between 47.5 and 61.1, indicating periods of neither extreme overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility. Considering this, I propose a combined strategy utilizing all three indicators. Initially, we will implement a long position when the RSI dips below 50, targeting the resistance level of $116,000. Specifically, we will enter a long position at $115,100. A stop loss will be set just below the support level at $113,700 to mitigate potential losses. The target price is $116,000, offering a potential profit of $900. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price touches the lower band, it signals a potential buying opportunity, reinforcing the RSI signal. For the forecast period, the price is expected to remain within the Bollinger Bands, with a slight upward bias. Therefore, we will maintain the long position as long as the price stays above the center of the Bollinger Bands. If the price falls below $115,100, we will exit the position to limit losses. This combined approach, leveraging RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels, aims to capitalize on the prevailing upward trend while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a fluctuating trend with a recent upward momentum. The price has bounced off the support level of 4,270 and tested the resistance at 4,450. The RSI values hover around 50 to 64, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper band but generally remaining within a defined range. Considering these factors, I propose a moderately bullish strategy focusing on short-term gains. We will implement a combined strategy using RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. The entry price will be $4,450, coinciding with the resistance level and a recent price point. The stop loss will be set at $4,420, just below the recent price action and providing a buffer against minor pullbacks. The initial target price is $4,480, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a potential resistance breakout. If the price reaches $4,480, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of $4,450 to secure profits and protect against potential reversals. The final target price will be $4,460, based on the forecast data. This strategy aims to capitalize on the short-term upward trend while managing risk through strategic stop-loss placement. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI fluctuating between 49.1 and 61.0 suggests the asset is neither significantly overbought nor oversold for most of the period. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Given the forecast prices hovering around $2.98 to $3.0 for the next week, and the support level at $2.86, a moderately bullish strategy is appropriate. We will implement a combined strategy using RSI and Bollinger Bands, prioritizing entries near the lower Bollinger Band and exits near the upper band or when the RSI reaches 80. Our strategy involves a long position entry at $2.95, coinciding with a touch of the lower Bollinger Band and an RSI below 50. A stop loss will be placed at $2.86, just below the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price is set at $3.05, aligning with the resistance level and the upper Bollinger Band. If the price reaches $3.05 and the RSI is below 80, we will consider a second target price of $3.15. This combined approach leverages both volatility indicators and support/resistance levels for optimized risk-reward. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB exhibits a clear uptrend. The price has consistently moved higher, with the forecast predicting continued upward momentum. The RSI has generally been above 50, indicating bullish sentiment, and has recently breached the 80 level, suggesting a potential overbought condition. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, confirming the increasing volatility and upward trend. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $1,020, placing a stop-loss order at $994, just below the lower Bollinger Band from September 21, 2025. Our target price will be $1,110, aligning with the forecast for September 26, 2025. This strategy aims to capitalize on the predicted upward trend while mitigating risk with a conservative stop-loss. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI drops below 30 during the forecast period, indicating an oversold condition, we can consider adding to our position at $1,050, with a stop-loss at $1,020. Conversely, if the RSI consistently remains above 80, we might consider tightening our stop-loss to $1,050 to protect profits. The core strategy remains a long position, leveraging the bullish trend and utilizing Bollinger Bands and RSI for dynamic risk management. The overall portfolio will be 70% in the long position and 30% in cash to maintain flexibility and adapt to changing market conditions. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana demonstrates an overall upward trend, supported by consistent resistance levels around $247 and forecast prices above $239. The RSI consistently remains above 50, indicating bullish momentum, though nearing the 70 level, suggesting a potential pullback. The Bollinger Bands show price fluctuations within a defined range, with the recent price approaching the upper band, further reinforcing a potential cooling-off period. My strategy will be a combination of RSI and Bollinger Bands, with a focus on capitalizing on potential pullbacks within the prevailing uptrend. I recommend entering a long position at $239, coinciding with the initial forecast price. A stop-loss should be set at $234, just below the recent support level, to limit potential losses. The target price for this trade will be $247, aligning with the established resistance level. This strategy leverages the current upward trend while incorporating risk management through the stop-loss. If the price action shows signs of reversal, such as the RSI dropping below 30 or the price breaking below the lower Bollinger Band, the position should be re-evaluated. However, given the overall bullish sentiment, I anticipate a move towards the $247 resistance within the next week. This provides a reasonable risk-reward ratio, making it an attractive investment opportunity. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin exhibits an overall upward trend, although with some volatility. The RSI consistently fluctuates above 50, indicating a generally bullish momentum, but rarely reaching overbought levels. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been oscillating within a defined range, with the lower band frequently tested. Considering the support at $0.242 and the forecast prices hovering around $0.267 to $0.271, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.269. A stop-loss should be placed just below the support level at $0.239 to mitigate potential losses. The target price is set at $0.282, aligning with the recent resistance level and providing a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, I'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the RSI dips below 55 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it suggests a potential oversold condition. In this case, an entry at $0.268 is optimal. The stop-loss remains at $0.239. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band and the RSI exceeds 65, it signals a potential overbought condition, suggesting a target price of $0.282. This combined strategy offers a balanced approach, leveraging both momentum and volatility indicators to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a slight upward trend, bouncing around the $0.34 mark. The RSI consistently stays within the 45 to 60 range, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been relatively narrow, suggesting low volatility. Considering the current RSI of 50.3 and the forecast prices hovering around $0.34, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will enter a long position at $0.343. To manage risk, we'll set a stop loss at $0.338, just below the support level. Our initial target price will be $0.352, aligning with the recent highs and providing a reasonable profit margin. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. If the price breaks above the upper band, $0.358, we'll raise our target price to $0.362, the resistance level. Conversely, if the price touches the lower band, $0.322, we'll exit the position and reevaluate. This combined RSI and Bollinger Bands approach offers a balanced strategy, capitalizing on the slight upward trend while incorporating dynamic adjustments based on volatility. The portfolio will consist of 60% of the strategy based on RSI, 30% based on Bollinger Bands and 10% of the support and resistance prices. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a slightly bullish trend with price fluctuations. The RSI values have generally remained between 50 and 63, indicating neither strong overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been fluctuating, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I recommend a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. Conversely, we will exit the position when the RSI reaches 70, signaling an overbought condition, or the price reaches the upper Bollinger Band. Specifically, based on the forecast for September 28, 2025, the predicted price is $0.88. Given the current trend and the forecast, I suggest entering a long position at $0.88. The stop loss should be set slightly below the lower Bollinger Band at $0.86, providing a buffer against short-term volatility. The target price should be set at $0.90, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a reasonable profit margin. This strategy combines technical indicators to capitalize on price fluctuations while mitigating risk through strategic stop-loss placement, aiming for a high return potential with controlled risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Wrapped Beacon ETH shows an overall upward trend, with a recent pullback. The RSI indicates the asset is currently within a neutral range, fluctuating around 50, and has not reached oversold or overbought levels. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has recently touched the upper band, suggesting a potential short-term pullback is possible. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position with a cautious approach. We will enter a long position at $4,810, placing a stop loss at $4,780 to protect against a potential downward correction. The initial target price will be $4,850, aiming to capitalize on the upward trend. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI drops below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at the prevailing price, with a stop loss at 3% below the entry price and a target price at $4,830. Conversely, if the RSI exceeds 80, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider exiting the current long position or initiating a short position. This combined strategy, leveraging both Bollinger Bands and RSI, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will consist of 70% long positions based on the upward trend and 30% dynamic adjustments based on RSI signals, ensuring adaptability to market fluctuations. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows a sideways trend with support at $22.2 and resistance at $24.7. The RSI fluctuates between 47.2 and 60.1, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands generally contract, suggesting periods of low volatility. Considering this, I propose a combined strategy utilizing RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels. We will implement a strategy that combines long positions when the RSI is below 47.2 and the price is near the support level of $22.2, and short positions when the RSI is above 53.6 and the price is near the resistance level of $24.7. For a long position, enter at $22.8 when the RSI is oversold, set a stop loss at $22.2, and target a price of $24.7. For a short position, enter at $24.7 when the RSI is overbought, set a stop loss at $25.1 and target a price of $23.5. The forecast suggests a price range between $22.8 and $23.4, supporting both long and short opportunities. This portfolio combines the strengths of each strategy to maximize potential returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a slight upward trend with periods of consolidation. The RSI fluctuating between 49.1 and 61.0 suggests the asset is neither significantly overbought nor oversold for most of the period. The Bollinger Bands indicate periods of volatility, with the price occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Given the forecast prices hovering around $2.98 to $3.0 for the next week, and the support level at $2.86, a moderately bullish strategy is appropriate. We will implement a combined strategy using RSI and Bollinger Bands, prioritizing entries near the lower Bollinger Band and exits near the upper band or when the RSI reaches 80. Our strategy involves a long position entry at $2.95, coinciding with a touch of the lower Bollinger Band and an RSI below 50. A stop loss will be placed at $2.86, just below the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price is set at $3.05, aligning with the resistance level and the upper Bollinger Band. If the price reaches $3.05 and the RSI is below 80, we will consider a second target price of $3.15. This combined approach leverages both volatility indicators and support/resistance levels for optimized risk-reward. Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin Cash shows a generally upward trend, bouncing between the support of $548 and the resistance of $602. The RSI fluctuates, but it has been mostly within the range of 50 to 65, indicating neither extreme overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increasing volatility. Considering the forecast for the next week, which predicts a slight downward trend initially before stabilizing, I propose a cautious long strategy. We will enter a long position at $591, with a stop loss set at $586 to mitigate potential downside risk. The initial target price is $616, aiming to capture a portion of the upward momentum. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position at the prevailing price, with a stop loss just below the lower Bollinger Band. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or above, suggesting an overbought condition, we will consider taking profits or reducing our position. If the price touches the support price of $548, we will exit the position immediately. The final target price will be $624 if the trend continues upward. This layered approach allows us to adapt to changing market conditions and maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Aptos shows an overall upward trend, consistently testing and bouncing off the support price of $4.45. The RSI fluctuates around 50, indicating neither overbought nor oversold conditions for most of the period. However, the forecast for the next week predicts a continued rise, with prices hovering around $4.64 to $4.68. The Bollinger Bands also suggest a bullish outlook, with the price consistently near the upper band, indicating strengthening momentum. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy focusing on capitalizing on the anticipated upward movement. My recommended strategy is to enter a long position at $4.54. Given the support level at $4.45, a conservative stop loss should be placed at $4.42 to protect against potential downside risks. The initial target price can be set at $4.64, aligning with the forecast price for September 22, 2025. If the price continues to rise, a second target can be set at $4.68, based on the higher end of the forecast range. This strategy combines the bullish trend, RSI readings, and Bollinger Bands alignment to maximize potential returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Litecoin shows a sideways trend with fluctuating prices between the support of $108 and the resistance of $114. The RSI indicator fluctuates around 50, indicating a neutral market condition. The Bollinger Bands are narrowing, suggesting a period of low volatility. Given this, I recommend a range-bound trading strategy. We will enter a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, specifically at $109, with a stop-loss set at $108 to protect against a potential breakdown. The target price for this long position will be $114, aiming to capture the upward movement towards the resistance level. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI falls below 20, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at $111, placing a stop-loss at $108. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 80, indicating an overbought condition, we will consider a short position. Considering the forecast data suggests a slight downward trend in the coming week, with prices ranging from $112 to $111, I recommend a conservative approach. The final portfolio will prioritize long positions based on RSI and Bollinger Bands, aiming for a balance between risk and reward with entry price $111, stop loss $108, and target price $114. Based on the historical data and forecast, PAX Gold exhibits a clear upward trend, consistently testing the support level of $3,680 and approaching the resistance level of $3,700. The RSI consistently remains above 70, indicating overbought conditions, but the price continues to climb. The Bollinger Bands show that the price is nearing the upper band, suggesting a potential pullback is possible. Therefore, I recommend a strategy that combines trend following with a cautious approach to the overbought conditions. We will implement a long position with an entry price of $3,710, anticipating the continuation of the upward trend. A stop-loss order will be placed at $3,680 to protect against a sudden downturn, and the initial target price will be set at $3,740, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and recent forecast prices. To maximize returns and mitigate risk, we will employ a dynamic target price strategy. Once the price reaches $3,740, we will move the stop-loss to break even to secure the initial investment. Subsequently, we will re-evaluate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI falls below 70 and the price touches the center of the Bollinger Bands, we will consider taking partial profits and adjusting the target price to $3,740. This approach allows us to capitalize on the prevailing uptrend while incorporating risk management techniques to safeguard profits. The final target price will be $3,740, based on the forecast data. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB exhibits a clear uptrend. The price has consistently moved higher, with the forecast predicting continued upward momentum. The RSI has generally been above 50, indicating bullish sentiment, and has recently breached the 80 level, suggesting a potential overbought condition. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, confirming the increasing volatility and upward trend. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $1,020, placing a stop-loss order at $994, just below the lower Bollinger Band from September 21, 2025. Our target price will be $1,110, aligning with the forecast for September 26, 2025. This strategy aims to capitalize on the predicted upward trend while mitigating risk with a conservative stop-loss. To refine this strategy, we can incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI drops below 30 during the forecast period, indicating an oversold condition, we can consider adding to our position at $1,050, with a stop-loss at $1,020. Conversely, if the RSI consistently remains above 80, we might consider tightening our stop-loss to $1,050 to protect profits. The core strategy remains a long position, leveraging the bullish trend and utilizing Bollinger Bands and RSI for dynamic risk management. The overall portfolio will be 70% in the long position and 30% in cash to maintain flexibility and adapt to changing market conditions. Based on the historical data and forecast, exhibits a strong downtrend. The price has consistently declined from 3.79 to a forecast of 0.728, with support consistently at 1.45 and resistance at 1.97. The RSI has been consistently below 30, indicating oversold conditions, and the Bollinger Bands show a widening spread, confirming the volatility and downward momentum. Considering this, I recommend a short selling strategy. Enter a short position at $1.51. Set a stop loss at $1.67, just above the recent high and the bottom of the Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses if the price unexpectedly reverses. A reasonable target price would be $0.945, aligning with the forecast and a significant drop from the entry point. To refine the strategy, we can incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. When the RSI dips below 20, it signals an oversold condition, which could be a temporary bounce. However, given the overall downtrend, we should still maintain the short position. If the price touches the bottom of the Bollinger Band, it may indicate a potential bounce, but we should not change our position. The combined strategy involves entering short at $1.51, with a stop loss at $1.67 and a target price of $0.945. This approach balances the potential for gains from the downtrend with safeguards against unexpected price reversals. Based on the historical data and forecast, Zcash shows a generally upward trend with price fluctuations. The RSI values have mostly remained above 60, indicating a bullish momentum, but also showing some periods of being in the oversold territory. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility and potential price movement. Considering these factors, I propose a combined strategy utilizing RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 60 and the price touches the support level of $49. The entry price will be $49. To mitigate risk, the stop loss will be set at $47. The initial target price will be $53, aligning with the recent resistance level and the forecast. To further enhance the strategy, we will implement a trailing stop loss based on the Bollinger Bands. Once the price reaches $53, we will move the stop loss to the lower band of the Bollinger Bands. Given the forecast, which predicts a price increase to $55.5, we can adjust the target price to $55.5. This combined approach leverages the RSI for identifying potential entry points, the Bollinger Bands for managing risk and identifying further upside potential, and the support and resistance levels for setting realistic targets. This portfolio will give us the most efficient returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Kaia shows a slight upward trend, supported by the consistently maintained support price of $0.157 and the forecast predicting a rise to $0.169. The RSI fluctuates between 51.8 and 61.7, indicating that the asset is neither consistently oversold nor overbought. The Bollinger Bands have been expanding, suggesting increasing volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy focusing on the anticipated upward movement. We will enter a long position at $0.161, placing a stop-loss order at $0.157 to mitigate potential losses if the price reverses. The target price for this trade will be $0.169, aligning with the forecast data and capitalizing on the predicted upward trend. This strategy combines the forecast data, support and resistance levels, and the RSI to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. The RSI is currently around 57, which is not in the oversold territory, but it is not overbought either, indicating a reasonable entry point. The upward trend predicted by the forecast and the stable support price provide a solid foundation for this investment, while the stop-loss order ensures capital preservation. Based on the historical data and forecast, DeXe shows a clear upward trend, especially with the significant price jump from September 18 to September 21. The RSI consistently moves above 50, indicating bullish momentum, and the forecast predicts continued growth. We will implement a combined strategy using RSI and Bollinger Bands to maximize profit potential. The first strategy focuses on RSI, entering when the RSI falls below 40 and exiting when it reaches 80. The second strategy uses Bollinger Bands, entering when the price touches the lower band and exiting when it touches the upper band. Combining these two strategies, we aim to capture both short-term and long-term price movements. Our portfolio will prioritize the upward trend and forecast data. We will enter a long position on September 22, 2025, at a price of 9.38 plus $0, when the RSI is below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. The stop loss will be set at 8.78 plus $0, just above the support price, to protect against sudden downturns. The initial target price will be 11.3 plus $0, aligning with the forecast for September 26, 2025. If the price reaches this target, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of 9.38 plus $0 and set a new target price of 12.3 plus $0, corresponding to the forecast for September 28, 2025. This dynamic adjustment allows us to capitalize on the predicted upward momentum while mitigating risk.